Attention, please. Here's something I bet you didn't know. Not all supplements are created equal. At HealthSpan, our omega-3 oil is sustainably sourced from the South Pacific Ocean. We find our turmeric in the southern slopes of India. And our cod liver oil comes from the cold, crisp seas off Greenland. We work hard to seek out the best ingredients for our supplements, because that's the HealthSpan way. We're healthspan.co.uk. Vitamins and supplements in-store or direct to your door.
Right now, it's more vital than ever that we keep in touch. So at Labara, we're offering a great value SIM-only deal. 1,000 texts and 1,000 minutes to the UK. 100 extra minutes to 40 other countries, plus 2 gigs of data. All for just £5. No contract. You can change at any time. Not that you'd want to. Labara. Stay connected.
Vinzo. Battleborn.
Whatever your day holds, you need a breakfast that helps you get up and go. Up.
And go, go, go.
Up. And go. A delicious breakfast shake made with oats and milk. High in fibre, high in protein, high in calcium. Start right with Up and Go. The official breakfast partner of British Swimming. Find us in the cereal aisle.
And welcome to the British Swimming Selection Trials here at the London Aquatic Centre. Of course, the host of the 2012 London Olympic Games. What a fantastic venue it is. There's the starting blocks at the start end, the diving well in the background with the Tom Daley Diving Centre. But what a wonderful facility it is. And the officials just getting ready for the start of this first heat, the first morning, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 5-day meet. And it's going to be a meet like you will never have seen before. This you will have seen. Women's 200 freestyle, men's 400 free, some great swimmers in that. Of course, the 400 medley for women. We'll see Hannah Miley going. And the men's 100 metres breaststroke, the one I think that everybody really has been looking forward to. 2 pre-selected swimmers in that race. 2 swimmers pre-selected for the Olympic team already, out of 4 in total for Great Britain. Adam Peaty, of course, Olympic champion, triple-double world champion. women's fly, and then the men's men's 200 medley as well. That's going to be good. There's the officials this morning. Men's referee Craig Hunter in the centre there. And then women's referee is Tom Baster. And the starter, Matt Huntington. But I said it's going to be a meet like you've never seen before. There's going to be many, many firsts at this meet, not all of them. The first person to touch the wall. It's going to be, well, actually a very slow-paced meet because, for example, in order to put this meet on, they're going to have to clean the starting blocks after every heat and every final. So it's going to go quite a slow pace. It's going to be about 2.5 minutes between swimmers leaving the pool and the swimmers walking on for the next heat. But some of these races are going to be absolutely wonderful. Straight into the women's 200 metres freestyle, and we've got, well, in heat three heats, Freya Anderson, the British champion on the 100 and 200 metres freestyle. She'll be going in the third heat. In the second heat, we've got Abby Wood, young Abby Wood, a wonderful junior swimmer. Took a little bit of time to adjust to senior swimming, but this year, my goodness me, this year and last year, it was really the International Swimming League where she swam for the New York Breakers team. Wow, she was fantastic at that. Broke the British senior record in the short course pool in that women's 200 AM. But this is the 200 free. She goes in heat 2. Heat 1 of 3, Holly Hibbett will be the fastest seed. British record, look at that, 1:55.54, Joe Jackson, back in 2009. The last major meet where those artificial suits were allowed to be used, that was the World Championships in Rome. 1:55.45. She was a great swimmer, lovely lady as well. So swimmers just getting ready. They'll be coming out of the door. There they are, top left of the pool. And only 4 swimmers in this first heat. And lanes 3 and 5, Mia Slevin and Freya Colbert, both on the European junior team back in 2019, which won a silver medal in the women's 4x200 metres freestyle relay. So the first heat, 4 swimmers, Slevin in 3, Holly Hibbett the favourite in 4, Colbert in 5, and Nikki Miller of East Kilbride in 6. Holly Hibbett now moved to train at the Bath National Centre under Dave McNulty. Good move. That's her coach when she was at Stockport. Sean Kelly moved to Spain to become one of their senior swimming officials there. I think he's National Performance Director there, actually. So Holly in the black hats, just putting all stuff in those plastic bags. You see the plastic bags? They've got to put all their kit in a plastic bag and then collect it themselves and take it away. Lots of different things at this meet they've got to get used to. Heat 1, women's 200 freestyle. Hibbett, the black hat in lane 4. So 4 lengths of the pool, first heat of the women's 200 freestyle. The Olympic standard for the British team's consideration for selection is 1:57.28. Now, I don't expect the swimmers to go for that in the heats. I don't think there'll be very many doing that because I think that generally the times to make the finals won't be, for the really big swimmers, won't be that difficult. Very even down this first 50, look at that. Oh, well. What's that, about 17/100 splitting all 4 swimmers. The green hat of Freya Colbert in lane 5. Hibbett 1 lane up from her, and the black hat maybe just starting to take the lead now. And probably about 2 minutes 1 should make the final, something like that, maybe. Probably best to go 2 minutes if they can. Holly's best time, 1:58.2 in the centre. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? If she's going to go 1:58.2, she's going to have to basically negative split it up. I would imagine she'll probably try and go 2 minutes point, something like that. She'll work the second 100. Very good distance freestyler. Commonwealth Games silver medalist on the 400 free. European Championship bronze medalist as well on the 400 free. And has been in the World Championship final on the 800 metres freestyle. So just turning on a little bit down this third 50. I'd like to see them just pick it up a tiny bit to make sure they get under 2 minutes 2:01. There's 2 more heats still to come. And, well, they'll certainly be expecting to drop a couple of these swimmers, but it's going to be tight to make the final, so anyone really, it's all about time. It doesn't matter where you place in the heat. And if they can get, I would say, a 2 minutes point, they'll make it in. 2 minutes 1 is going to be close. Well, there we go, 2 minutes point 4, 3 2:01s. Well, if you're in the second and third heats and you're looking to make the final as one of the outside lanes, I would imagine your heart's just gone up several beats a minute. Hibbett winning the first heat, 2 minutes point 47. So Hibbett winning that first heat in 2 minutes point 47. Yeah, Slevin 2:01.3, 2:01.63 for Miller, and 2:01.85 for Colbert. Very tight indeed. So there's the new way. There's no helpers coming along. You put your kit in the big box and then have them take it away. You have to do it yourself at this meet. I have to say, British Swimming done a wonderful job of putting this meet on, just to have the thing, just to be holding a selection meet has just been amazing. The amount of protocols that are out there just to make sure that they're allowed to run the meet has been quite phenomenal. So heat 2 of 3, women's 200 metres freestyle, and Abby Wood in the centre. I'm really looking forward to watching her swim. Had such a great ISL season, International Swimming League season. Just set the world on fire. Then went to the Manchester meet, sort of a time trial really. There were 2 of them. And 200 medley, best time was 2:11. She didn't even bother with the 2:10s, went straight to 2:09. She's in 4, Candice Hall in 5, Anderson in 6. That's Rachel, not Freya. Freya's in the third heat. Tamarin Van Selm of Millfield in 3. Erin Little in 8, 15-year-old from Mount Kelly. English junior record holder, 50 short course, 25.3. They've got a good programme going, Mount Kelly. Emma Collins done a super job taking over from Robin Brew there. Robin Brew, I think he was there, what, 18 years or something? Anyway, interestingly, one of the Olympic training pools from here, from 2012, there were 3 of them. They were packed up, like Meccano sets, packed up and shipped elsewhere. One of them went to Kelly College, Mount Kelly, and so there's a little bit of Olympic legacy down there in Tavistock. Great facility it is. So there'll be a little bit of this, there'll be a lot of this during the next 5 days. A little bit of waiting time while they clean the blocks as somebody goes along with one of those great big backpacks with some disinfectant in the back and then a spray stick, and pumps the stick and it sprays the starting block to make sure that it is as disinfected as possible. Everyone's required to wear masks around the pool everywhere they go. Once you get here, you have to have a COVID test. You enter the bubble. Once you're in the bubble, you're not allowed out until you leave the meet. Only allowed in your hotel room or the pool. No shops, no nothing. If that's where you've got to do it, that's fine. Here they come. Heat 2 of 3, the women's 200 metres freestyle. There's the pool there you go. And Erin Little of Mount Kelly with that white hat leading them out. Nervy times these. So they saw the first heat in one in 2 minutes point by Holly Hibbett, and then everybody else 2:01s. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how these swimmers go for it. I would imagine they're going to have to get on with it if they're going to make sure they make the final. There is Erin Little, triple national age group champion in the 13-14s and the 50, the 100 and the 200 freestyle in that green suit on the right. But Abby Wood in the centre, well, what a year she's had. Really quite incredible. She's gone to train with Dave Hemmings at the Loughborough National Centre. She's not the tallest swimmer, I'd say, in terms of when you line them up against the wall, but when you get her in the water, her underwaters are phenomenal. Her starts, her turns. I'm picking her up now. You just watch the, hope it's not the commentator's curse. There's Candice Hall in 5, Loughborough University student. And one closer to us, Rachel Anderson, also of Loughborough University. Heat 2, women's 200 freestyle. Wood in the centre of Loughborough National Centre in lane 4. Watching the underwaters of Abby Wood. Oh, look at that. Well, you're allowed 15 metres underwater. She used about 14. Perfect start. Stopped the race there. She's won it by about a half a second, maybe, something like that. She really is fantastic underwater. And for someone who's not that tall, brilliant technically. Absolutely brilliant. Well, they've seen the 201s. 201's very clearly the target, and Abby Wood's not hanging around. 27.6 at the 50. The others are going to have to go with her. Now, when you're breathing, when you're up a couple of lanes and you're breathing to your right and you suddenly see Abby Wood's about a metre and a half ahead of you, maybe 2 metres ahead of you, you suddenly go, uh-oh, maybe I've gone out too slowly. You can see the spearheading of the seeding of these heats working pretty well there. And Abby Wood is absolutely going for it. So at 57.6 at the turn, and she's dragged 3 other swimmers through in 58s. This is going to be a much faster heat than the first one. Now, I know Abby Wood loves racing. She loves doing more and more events. The more events, the better for her. And at the end of a very busy Manchester meet, a couple of months ago when they had that the time trials there, she swam a brilliant race on the last day. Really did. So that's the 150 turn. Looks like she's eased off a little. Great underwater again. Look at that. Breathed off the first stroke is interesting, but she must have gone about 10 to 12 underwater there. And going with her, Tamrin Van Selm of Millfield, 8th ranked coming in. The green hat up there with Candice Wood of Loughborough in 3rd at the moment. So 201 lows they'll be targeting. And Wood just turned on the burners there in that last 15 metres. 159, well, 158.5, very good. 3 swimmers under 201, so quite clearly that now the target under 201, and you should make the final. Wood wins it. Tamrin Van Selm's 2nd, 159.51. And that's a new lifetime best, I think, for Van Selm by quite a long way. If I've got that right, that's she was entered on a 201.24. She just went 159. So the results of the second heat of 3 of the women's 200 metres freestyle. Abby Wood 158.5, just outside of her best, but that looked a really comfortable swim. Very good indeed. A great lifetime best for Tamrin Van Selm. Never gone under 201. She went 159.5. And then Candice Hall, a Loughborough University student, came in 3rd, just outside of her lifetime best, but I think that should get her through to the final. One more quick heat, the quickest heat still to come, but that should be good enough. Keep an eye on that. 2 minutes, 0.97. I think he's currently in 4th. So the swimmers exit the pool on the right-hand side, carrying their own plastic bag with their kit in it, and they have to go all the way from the right-hand side behind the hoarding with the British Swimming Selection Trials written on it, that blue hoarding there, and they go across to the left-hand side of the diving well, and they go and put their bags down just by those 2 green diving balls on the left-hand side there. And then go and swim down in the diving well. So, the final heat, heat 3, Freya Anderson, fastest seed in lane 4. Hope in 5. Leah Crisp in lane 3. And this, well, 2:01 seems to be the benchmark. Get under that and you've got a pretty good chance of getting through to the final. On the seedings, there's only 2 swimmers who've gone under 2:01. Let me say 3 swimmers gone under 2:01 in this final heat. Freya Anderson in 4, Lucy Hope in 5, and Leah Crisp 2 minutes .92. So this will be a fascinating final heat. They don't need to do too much in these heat. The big swimmers, the Freya Andersons and the Abby Woods. We got Adam Peaty. It'll be really interesting to see how he swims his heat of 100 breaststroke coming up. The world champion, and the second fastest seed. James Wilby, second fastest in the world a couple of years ago, silver medal at the World Championships. Also in it, Ross Murdoch's in it. So here's the swimmers in the third heat of the women's 200 freestyle, led out by Michaela Glenister of University of Stirling in lane 8 in that pink suit. She's also entered in the 400 medley in this session, which is the next women's event. Imagine that, 200 free, 400 medley double, back-to-back women's races. Brutal. Michaela stopped in lane 7, promoted herself a couple of lanes. She's got it right now. There's Freya Anderson. What a talent. Well, that's actually, it's not Freya, is it? That's, I think that's lane 7. That's Emma Russell of Stirling. So all 4 of the European Junior silver medalists from 2019 in that women's 4x200 freestyle relay in this event, the women's the women's 200 free. And the British champion is in lane 4 on the 100 and the 200 free. Glenister in the pink suit on the right there, the slowest seed. Russell next to her, then Osrin in 6, Hope in 5, Anderson in 4. There she is. Statuesque, wonderful figure for a sprint freestyler. If you could choose, that's what you'd have. Amazing. 6'2", I think she is. The final heat of the women's 200 meters freestyle, heat 3. The Olympic qualifying time 1:57.28. I don't expect her to go that fast in the heat, but certainly in the final, I would imagine she will rattle and probably go well through that consideration standard. Going out early, though, is Lucy Hope of Edinburgh University. The black hat of Lucy. Turning first, 27.5. Anderson going with her, 27.7. And the rest on 28 mid into the 29s. And Anderson, well, for Anderson, she's seen, look at that. What a beautiful stroke. Coached by Dave McNulty now at the Bath National Centre, of course, moved from Ellesmere College, where Alan Birch has done such a good job with her. And Lucy Hope looking very good indeed in 5. Let's hope she's got easy speed down that first 100. Anderson turns slightly better on the top of those 2 women there. 58 point at the turn, 57, 57.8, 57.5 for Lucy Hope. That's quick. Now this is a much quicker heat. If these women can bring it back on the second 100, we could see quite a few of these women making it through to the final. Sub 2:01 should make it through. Anderson now on this, push this third 50. 1:28.4. Look at that, 4th, Leah Crisp. 1:30.7. If she can bring it back in 30 seconds, she could make this final. So Anderson, well, working the second 100. Interesting tactics. Very comfortable down the first 25 and 50. Picked it up a little bit, stalked Lucy Hope a little bit, worked the third 50, and this is a really good swim. She's working hard down that last 25. The time's good, 1:58.17. That's just 9/10 of a second outside of the Olympic consideration standard in a heat where she looked really comfortable down that first 100. I wonder if she's just used that to blow away the cobwebs and just get into the race. There were 2 swimmers sub 2:01. Emma Russell was third, 2:01.03. I think she will make it through to the final, but it's going to be very tight indeed for that 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. So, good opening to the meet for Freya Anderson. British champion on the 100 and the 200, wins the final heat of the 200 freestyle from Bath National Centre, 1:58.1. Lucy Hope second, she'll get through to the final. Emma Russell third, I think she will make it as well, but then fourth is going to be really tight. It's going to be hundreds making it in and out. Leah Crisp, I'm not sure. Not sure if that's going to be good enough. I think she may just miss it. So Anderson will go in as the fastest. Abby Wood second. There we go, confirmation of the qualifiers then. Anderson, Wood, Van Selm, Lucy Hope. Well, there they've got qualifiers as the top 10. I thought they were just having finals as 8 swimmers. So I think the qualification there may not be correct. I think Nikki Miller and Leah Crisp might not make it through. I will confirm that, but I think they're just using 8 lanes for the final. Even though this is a 10-lane pool, just 8 lanes for the final. Erin Little swam well, look at that. Goodness me, the 15-year-old, 2:05.4. Well done. So straight into, well, that's not the women's 200 freestyle, that's the heat 1 of the next event, the men's 400 metres freestyle. And there'll be a little bit of a gap first while they clean the starting blocks and clean the starting area, disinfect it after every single heat. Quite a few firsts here. Just the whole concept of being in the bubble. To go to the check into the hotel room, check into the hotel yesterday, have a COVID test. Of course, that had to be negative. Go straight to your room and wait. I'm not quite sure what you do if it was positive. I think you stay there. And then once you're in, then you're only allowed to stay in your hotel room. You can go down to the hotel restaurant, get your food on a tray with a mask on and take it up to your room and eat it in your room on your own. And then you're allowed to go down and do training sessions if you've booked a lane. Only if you've booked a lane. You're not allowed in the pool otherwise. And then if you're swimming, you can come down for warm-ups. There's 2 separate warm-ups. It's some serious stuff. So, first men's event. Day 1 of this British Swimming Selection Trials for the 2020 Olympic Games. Still not quite sure what to call it, actually. Is it the 2020 Olympics? It's 2021? Men's 400 free. James Guy is the British record holder. He's moved on from the 400 free. He's swimming here and swimming very well. That men's 200 free on the last day. What a race that's going to be. There's going to be some fantastic 200 freestyle swimmers not make the final because we are stacked at the moment in Great Britain on the 200 free for men. So here's the first heat. And it should be Jackson O'Rourke of Northampton leading them out with that black hat. Sam Tucker of Wickham District in the centre in the green hat. And then Theo Thompson of Mount Kelly in 3. So there, 3, 4 and 5. There are 3 heats. And Sam Tucker, these are the 3 slowest. They've actually done the seeding in a quite interesting way for this meet. Some races, like the women's 200 freestyle there, they've actually spread the swimmers over 3, the fast swimmers over the 3 heats. Here, they've just put them in the last 2 heats. And these are the 3 slowest in the field. So they've done the seeding in interesting ways, I would say. This is my more preferred way of doing it, where you circle seed the last 2 heats if you can. First heat, men's 400 free. Thompson in the white hat of Mount Kelly, Tucker of Wickham in the green hat. And closest to us, Jackson O'Rourke of Northampton. Good start in the centre. Lovely long stroke there from Sam Tucker of Wickham District. Look at this. Great stuff. Theo Thompson in the white hat. Well, he was breathing right in the face of Sam Tucker down that first 25. Hopefully they'll just set the race up down this first 100 metres, the first 2 lengths, and then maybe pick it up after that. 28.6. And Theo first to turn in lane number 3. And now starting to take over is Jackson O'Rourke. Got a tough program here. He's doing the 400 free here. He's got the 800 free and the 1500 free and the 400 medley. God, 4, 8 and 1500 free and a 400 medley in the trials. He deserves all the medals he can get. First to turn, O'Rourke in 5 of Northampton. Entered on his lifetime best of 4 minutes 5.59. In fact, all 3 of these swimmers entered on their best time. And O'Rourke 4:05, Theo Thompson 4:06.4, and in the centre in the green hat, in theory, Sam Tucker's meant to be the fastest, 4:04.98. Not quite sure how much water time all of these swimmers have had. I mean, everybody here is meant to have had full water time and been allowed to get back into the proper training. Of course, no point really in being here if you haven't been training properly. And I think that certainly some of the athletes have been very, very lucky. And I think everyone feeling who has been back in has felt really privileged to be allowed to get back in. And I know there's an awful lot of swimmers out there who are absolutely chomping at the bit to get back in. The halfway turn, 2:01.66, 2:04.60 second. That's Theo Thompson, and then Jackson O'Rourke in 3rd. And yeah, quite a few programs have managed to get back in. Of course, Mount Kelly got their own 50-metre pool, Olympic pool, and Emma Collins there done a super job getting what is now a really big and fantastic squad. They've got some great swimmers there and some good alumni as well. The Italian 200 butterfly swimmer could well get a medal at the Olympic Games. I think he's graduated from Mount Kelly last year and then has been training in Italy this year. He was meant to go to the States, but in the end stayed in Italy. And I think Federico Beduso, I think he got a bronze medal at the European Championships, was it? Or maybe the Worlds. Very good indeed, and I wouldn't be too surprised to see him on the medal podium. Anyway, that's 300 metres down, and this is the first heat, the slowest heat of the men's 400 metres freestyle. 2 quick heats to come. The fastest 15 swimmers, 15 seeded swimmers still on the next 2 heats in heats 2 and 3, where we'll be seeing Tom Dean in the next heat. Can't wait to see him swim. And then Dan Jervis, Stephen Milne, Kieran Bird in that 3rd heat. And he's going to be just outside his seeded time, I think. 3:36.45. He needs to come back in a 29.1 if he's going to break his lifetime best. He can do that. Looks good. Breathing to his right, slightly early entry on his left-hand side. I like that, though. It's good. High kick. Could probably keep his legs in a little bit, wasting a little bit of energy kicking air. But this is a good swim for Jackson. PB 4:05.59, just outside of that, 4:07.21. And Jackson O'Rourke winning that first heat of the men's 400 free. Second was Theo Thompson of Mount Kelly and Sam Tucker of Wickham in 3rd. Well, it's a good way to start his programme, a very heavy programme indeed. Jackson O'Rourke has got, wins the first heat of the men's 400 metres freestyle. The 17 fastest big boys coming now, though. But a very good swim from him, just outside of his lifetime best. This the 400 free, still got the 800 free, the 1500 free and the 400 medley to come. But not a bad start for him at all. Theo Thompson of Mount Kelly 2nd and Sam Tucker 3rd. So 2 minutes still before the next heat arrives, and you can just about see in the centre there's two people walking along, one lady going to the right-hand side now, and a gentleman just going to the left-hand side about lane 2, 3, 2, 1. They've both got those, there he is, look. He's got his little can of disinfectant and the little sprayer, and they spray the seat, spray the block, make sure there's no nasties around, reducing the potential for anybody here to catch anything at all. And the bubble really has been organised so well. It's not easy for the athletes, it's not easy for the coaches. Of course, it's not just the swimmers who are inside it. All the coaches have to be inside it as well. All the timekeepers, all the officials have to be inside the bubble too. And of course, me as well. So, the first of the seeded heats in the men's 400 freestyle, and Tom Dean is absolutely on fire at the moment. Just moved to the Bath National Centre. He's in 4, Luke Turley in 3, his teammate Jacob Goodman in 5. Looking forward to him swimming as well later in this meet. Good 200 fly swimmer, it's Jacob Goodman. But Tom Dean, well, has been training most of his swimming life with Maidenhead, and Paul Lloyd there. Goodness me, Paul and Tom have had a fantastic relationship. It's worked really well. And then Tom went and trained with Dave McNulty at the Bath National Centre when lockdown came along. It's got to be good to be amongst the really elite athletes in the country and train with some of the best in the country and, of course, best in the world. And Tom Dean, with Dave McNulty, possibly one of the best coaches in the world as well. Not possibly. I think he's had 6 Olympic medals over his swimming career, his coaching career. And Tom Dean will be in lane 4, and he has been on fire. European junior champion in the medley, but his freestyle has come on leaps and bounds, and well, 3:48 he's entered at. His 200 freestyle, I can't wait for. He's just broken into that men's 4x200 metres freestyle relay where Great Britain has a chance of getting certainly a medal at the Olympics, and who knows? Let's not get too excited, but I'll say it now. Gold is not impossible. Men's 4x2. Duncan Scott, individual bronze medal at the World Championships. James Guy, now Tom Dean, all 145s, maybe 144s. Who knows? There's lane 5, Jacob Goodman. English national winter champion in this 200 metres freestyle. Swim a lifetime best, 145.6 in the short course pool. This, of course, the 400 free. And 6 with that green suit is William Riley, 8th seed, swimming the 400, the 800 and the 1500 free. Sorry, excuse me, the 400, the 800 and the 400 IM here. But he is the 8th seed, so he needs to maintain that to get through to this evening's finals. For some of them, it should be fairly straightforward. For others, it's going to be really interesting and a really tight scrap. We saw that in that women's 200 free. It was tight to make those last lanes in the final. Heat 2, the men's 400 free. Turley in 3, Dean in 4, Goodman in 5. 3 fastest. So there were 3 in the first heat, 7 in this, and then 8 in the final heat. But these last 2 heats, this heat 2 and heat 3, the fastest 17 men will be in. And look at this, Tom Dean. Well, if you wonder what sort of tactics he was going to use, this is amazing. He's more than half a body length up at 30 metres. Wow. Well, race tactics quite clearly. Let's get rid of the cobwebs down the first 25. Let's push it a bit. He's got youth on his side. What a beautiful stroke he has. He just surfs. He put that hand out, just surfs it. Watch his right hand. Fingers slightly open. You don't, not completely closed. The right hand goes in and he just surfs off it. Lovely leg kick, driving him forward. Breathing every stroke to his right. And look at that, almost the whole body length ahead at the 100. The split Well, it's quick, 54.5 for Thomas. Second is Luke Turley, 55.7. Joshua Williams of Wickham and District up there in lane 2, third, 56.0. It looks like he's still pushing it a little bit down this third 25. 8 lengths, of course, is men's 400 metres freestyle. And Tom Dean, well, has absolutely burst onto the scene in the last couple of years in the senior ranks, in the last year or so, I'd say. Really enjoyed his junior time. Brilliant junior, absolutely brilliant junior he was, but always as a man making that breakthrough from junior to senior, not easy at all, and he's done it wonderfully well. Looks now much more comfortable. He was a body length up at the 100 metres turn. He's now still just about a body length, just over a body length at the 200 turn, the halfway. So halfway mark, 154.3. I guess he's probably going to swim about a 350, something like that, 351. 355 is 8th seed coming into the meet, so 351 should be fine. 351, 352, and certainly if he wins this heat, I would say 1, 2, maybe 3, almost certain to go through. But look at this, 3, 4, 5. They're all very tight. This is the 300 metre turn coming up. And Luke Turley, not swum much in the long course pool. Swims with Joel Fink at the National Centre, the Bath National Centre, doing the 400s, there's 400, the 800 and the 1500 here. And he's just starting to push Dean. Dean breathing to his right, just a little sneaky breath to the left just before he turned there. Just had a look. And teammates now in 3 and 4. Are they starting to swim away from the field? Not really. Jacob Goodman still going with him from Loughborough in lane 5, and the black hat closer to us. And also now starting to wind it up as well is William Riley in the blue hat in 6. And if he can bring it home, I'd say top 4 certainly got a good chance. But the 5th swimmer up there in lane 2, Josh Williams of Wickham's also going well. Ooh, I think 55 is going to make it in, maybe faster, but at the moment, Luke Turley just taken over from Tom Dean. Comfortable swims these. It's not easy to swim slower than your best on purpose. Your stroke can go just all a little bit awkward, but a good swim, a good heat swim. Well, I said 351, 352.0 was the winner, Luke Turley. 352.8 for Tom Dean. Both of them done the job. They'll be through to the final, I'm sure. Third, 354.2, Jacob Goodman. I think that's just outside his best time. And then 4th, William Riley, 355.17 was 4th. So that is a lifetime best for William, and he is 8th seed. So it looks like under 355 should make it in. 1 heat to go. Turley wins it, heat 2 of 3. Dean 2nd, Goodman 3rd, and now Riley has set the target of 355. If 5 swimmers get under that in this final heat, he'll be out. I think he's going to go through. Just a hunch. Good swim from Turley, though. Didn't panic when Tom Dean went off like a shot. Yeah, well done, sir. See-through plastic bags, probably a good idea. I was thinking everyone can see what your kit is, but it's probably a good idea that you know what you've got your own, the correct bag, isn't it? The sprayers are spraying. It's just the seat. It's not the starting block. That's interesting. No, it is the starting block. So, men's 400 metres freestyle, the final heat. Dan Jervis, fastest seed. Stephen Milne. Stephen Milne has got medals at every major championship. Not too many swimmers have got that. Olympics, Commonwealths, Worlds, Europeans. Men's 4x200 metres freestyle relay. He's been on that team, which has been utterly brilliant over the last several years. And Milne's benefited with medals at all the majors. Dan Jervis, what a servant to British swimming he's been. And Kieran Bird's an interesting one as well, up in lane number 5. I wonder if this is a warm-up for his 800 metres freestyle, where I think he's got an outside chance of making the team, you know. His best is 350.9. Sorry, 750.9, and the qualifying time for the 800 is 7:49. So he's only got to drop a second. That's very doable. And then, of course, place himself in place for consideration for selection. There's going to be a lot of considering going on. There's no definites at this meet. If you win in a consideration time, you're not automatically on the Olympic team. You are placed for consideration. But I would imagine if you win your race and you do the consideration time, you're pretty certain to make it in. So the final heat of the men's 400 freestyle. Swimmers coming out, it's led by Josh Weston, the 17-year-old from Wickham. Charlie Hutchinson second out there. Great junior, making that transition through to senior swimming. Interesting tracksuit, that's a yellow coat. It's warm in this pool, I've got to say. It really is warm. He's just watching him in the yellow coat behind lane 7, just wanting to put his kit at the back, and the timekeeper saying, no, you don't. You stick it straight in your plastic bag and you keep it there. There you go, good on you. Keep him in check. Charlie Hutchison, best time 3:57.5, so he's got to do a lifetime best by probably 2.5 seconds to make it through. Swansea University right in the second, in the centre. And that is Dan Jervis, Commonwealth Games silver medalist on the 1500 metres freestyle on the Gold Coast. I have to say, one of the races of my lifetime that I thoroughly enjoyed commentating on was his Commonwealth Games in Glasgow in 2014, where he's about 15 metres outside of a medal and then just started reeling them in and just charged, absolutely charged. Ended up taking a super bronze medal at the Glasgow Commonwealth Games. He's in lane 4. Coached by Adam Baker, I believe. So Dan's lifetime best in lane 4, 3:47.5, just outside of the Olympic consideration time. In 3, Stephen Milne. Well, his PB, 3:46.0. A quick order to go there. The beeper went very fast after the take your mark. And final heat of the men's 400 metres freestyle. McInnes of City of Glasgow up there in lane 1. Regan Lloyd of University of Stirling in 2. Milne in 3 of Stirling. 4 is Swansea's Dan Jervis. Kieran Bird in 5 of the Bath National Centre. William Bell of Loughborough in 6. Charlie Hutchison in 7. And Josh Weston closest to us in that green hat of Wickham. Bell first to turn in lane 6. But starting to take it over now, Kieran Bird. Kieran, well, it'll be interesting to see how he goes in this 400 metres freestyle, coached by Joel Fink at Millfield School, and now also by Joel at the Bath National Centre when Joel moved a couple of years ago. And first to turn was just Jervis by 8/100ths, very tight between the first 2 down that first 2 lengths of 8 in this final heat, the men's 400 metres freestyle. The green hat of Dan Jervis, the Commonwealth silver medalist on the 1500 freestyle. European junior champion 7 years ago, back in 2014 in this 1500 free. Well, they've got one simple job to do, simple I say, one job to do, and it is easy to say, just make the final. There's no heroics necessary in the heats here. Just make sure you get through, and these guys in the centre will want a centre lane for the final. They'll want to be swimming head-to-head against Tom Dean. Will want to be right in there with Dan Jervis, with Kieran Bird. And these two looking very good in the centre, Jervis and Bird in 4 and 5. Also going well in 6 is Bell. Bell third to turn. A little bit faster than the first of the seeded heats, where they turned in 1:54. These guys 1:53s, 1:53.5, 1:53.7, and then 1:54.4. So a little bit quicker. And of course, in that second of the seeded heats, Dean was out quite fast and then swam a comfortable second 200 metres. Jervis over first again, pretty tight. Maybe half a second back to Kieran Bird, William Bell third. And so, well, the fourth swimmer, 4th and 5th here, if they can get close to that 3:55, which was the 4th time in that first of the seeded heats, they can get through. It's going to be tight again. Working hard in the centre. This is good to see. Stephen Milne looking good. 2 lengths to go. Fastest heat of the men's 400 free. Milne over first. Excuse me, that's Dan Jervis over first. Kieran Bird second. William Bell third. And Milne's got some work to do. Doesn't look that comfortable at the moment. Struggling a little bit up there in 3. And if he's not careful, he's not going to make the final. Looks like he's currently in just about in 5th place. If he can get the 4th place, it'll give him a decent shot. See his turns. Oh, it's a good turn. It's a very good turn, so he's got to bring it home well. No doubt about the leader, though, and Dan Jervis has gone off. Look at this. Well, he looks very strong. These distance freestyles, they're a breed apart. They certainly are. Kieran Bird also looking good in 5 next to him, swimming right on the lane line, trying to get a bit of a drag if he can. Winning the final heat in a good time, just under 3:50, 3:49.64 for Dan Jervis. That's 2 seconds outside of his best time, and that looked pretty good. Comfortable. Maybe just worked that last 50 extra hard, but he looked very good indeed, and he looks great there against the wall too. Well, that'll be an interesting final. That green hat. Kieran Bird closer to us, just hanging on the lane line. I'll tell you what, I'd be lying on the floor. So the top 5, let me see, what was 5th there? 4th was 3:53, so he'll be in. 5th was 3:54, so I think he'll be in as well. So I think Charlie Hutchison's going to make it. So I think we'll have 5 from that heat and 3 from the previous one. We'll have to check. I'm not totally sure yet, but a very good swim from Jervis to win that heat. So Jervis will go in as the fastest seed. There he is. 3:49.6. Bell second fastest. Bird third. Tom Dean down in 5th. That'll give him an interesting lane line. Lane 2 in the final. Milne will be in 7. Hutchison's in there. Good swim. Very good. 3:54. Big lifetime best for him. And then that completes the 18 swimmers. There are actually 10 lanes in this pool, although convention is that you normally only swim 8 swimmers per heat, but Olympic swimming pools have 10 lanes. So in theory, they could have had 2 heats there, but I think the meet's already quite low in terms of entries, of course, because not that many swimmers have been allowed to return to racing. So I don't think they wanted to reduce the number of heats. There's a very satisfied Dan Jervis. He looked really good. Really good. Looking a little bit chipper as well. That's good to see. So, first 2 heats over. Next heat is, or next event is the women's 400 metres individual medley. And Hannah Miley will be going in the first of 2 heats. Hannah, the British record holder, at 4:31. Wow. Consideration time for the Olympics is 4:36.6. That's not easy. That's a real world-class time, as they all, of course, they are. The standards are, but that is a tough one. Two swimmers, I think, have a great shot at it, and a couple of outside as well, but certainly Hannah Miley's gone much quicker than that. You can see the British record is, what, 5 and a bit seconds underneath that. And then, of course, Amy Wilmot has gone close to that this year. So Amy Wilmot is the fastest seed. So only 4 in the first heat of this women's 400 metres individual medley, only 2 heats. I have to say, I don't quite understand the seeding style here. There's 4 swimmers in this first heat and then 8 swimmers in the second heat. And they're all pretty quick, only 12 in total. I'm not quite sure what the rules are. I presume the FINA rules are that this is how it should be done, but I think if there's 12 swimmers, I'd probably go 6 and 6. But anyway, there's 4 in this heat. Hannah Miley goes in lane 4. Katie Shanahan in 5, European Juniors bronze medalist 2 years ago in this 400 metres individual medley. She goes in 5. So the white hat with the U of A, University of Aberdeen, swimming for Aberdeen Performance here. The British record holder, already swum in 3 Olympic Games. Oh, gracious mate. Went to 2008 in Beijing, and then 12, and then 16 in Rio. The class of this field, Hannah Miley in 4, Shanahan in 5, Goodwin in 6, and Lily Booker of Millfield up there in lane 3. Good start from Lily. Best start from Isabel Goodwell, actually, of Leeds at the bottom. And this, an interesting leg for Hannah Miley. It's one that she's sort of struggled with a little bit over the years, even though she's a very good 200 fly swimmer. I think she might have the Scottish record 200 fly. I need to check that, but she's a good fly swimmer, but against the best medley swimmers in the world, she's always seemed to be a little bit behind. Ooh, jammed a turn as well. Turning in 4th. Look at that. Slightly unusual. I expected to make it through comfortably to the final this evening. Katie Shanahan, European Juniors bronze medalist on the 400 medley, and Tim Jones done a really good job of driving the junior swimmers through to senior swimming. Tim Jones himself, of course, a great 200 fly swimmer. So first the turn, Shanahan in lane 5 of City of Glasgow. Goodwin second. Miley's moved up to 3rd now. Miley not looking as comfortable as I was thinking she might do. She's a great breaststroke freestyler, so the second half of her 400 medley is very strong, but doesn't quite look as comfortable and as smooth as she normally does there in that white hat. Shanahan looks really good. Long stroke. A roll over. Good glide underwater. And that's the 150 mark. Only 12 entrants in this slimmed down British swimming selection trials. Such a shame that we couldn't have had the normal amount of swimmers here, because it's such a great experience for so many youngsters. Not only do they have all the seniors, but often they have it as a selection meet for European Juniors, World Juniors, which may still go ahead. So I think there's going to be an interesting challenge just to work out what to do about the selection for those. I think that's still to be decided. As Katie Shanahan turns first, 2:18.0. Booker second. Miley still down in 3rd in that white hat there. Now, Miley's got a great breaststroke freestyle, so it shouldn't be too hard for her to make the final. She's just given me a little bit of the collie wobbles down the first 200 metres, but hopefully she should be fine. Lovely breaststroke from Booker of Millfield up there in 3 as well. So Booker's starting to catch Shanahan, and Hannah Miley going with her between the two. It looks like maybe Booker's going to turn first. Yes, she does, just 22 100ths ahead, Booker of Shanahan, with Miley in 3rd. And, well, if Miley finishes third, I can't see 6 swimmers from the second heat going faster than her, so she should be fine for the final. But maybe just swimming a little bit slower than your normal fastest best. It's just not that easy. A timing can go and it just throws you all off. Booker looking good, though. Nice glide. Nice efficient stroke. Not speeding the stroke up at the end, so not having too much to slow her down. Good breaststroke leg there from Booker. Very good indeed. 3:38.8. First to turn. Miley 3 seconds back in the white hat now in second place. And Katie Shanahan in third. And this is a solid heat swim from each of these women. They should go through to the final, barring any miracles in the second of the 2 heats of this women's 400 medley. I was thinking about 4 minutes 50 should make it through to the final. A tired turn there from Katie. But yeah, I think maybe 4:50 should be enough. It might even be slightly slower, but maybe 4:50, something like that, should make the final. And then, well, I expect Amy Wilmot and, well, I was expecting Hannah. I'm sure she'll be on it for the final. Expecting them to be in the sort of 4:35s, 4:36s if possible. The consideration time 4:36.38. Comfortable heat though. Good swim from Lily Booker, winning the first of 2 heats of the women's 400 medley. Lily's time 4:46.42. Miley second, and Katie Shanahan third in 4:52. So it looks like 4:50s will make the final, which is a little bit easier than I was expecting, but there'll be some fireworks later on, I'm sure, in the final. Going for her 4th Olympic Games in a row, the British record holder Hannah Miley. There's confirmation of the result of the first heat of 2 of the women's 400 medley. Lily Booker winning it for Millfield. Good swim from her. Hannah Miley second. Shanahan third. And Isabel Goodwin in 4th. It's hard to see 6 swimmers going under 4:52 in the second heat, but it's possible. Well done, Lily. Good swim. Rosy cheeks. I'm not surprised. 400 medley. Tough event. So they go around that board and then go all the way back to the other side. Not quite sure why they do that, but anyway, I suppose it's the one-way traffic, isn't it? The protocols of making sure that there's the least amount of contact as possible. So the second of 2 heats of the women's 400 medley. And Amy Wilmot, the Commonwealth champion in this 400 IM, goes in lane 4, the fastest seed. Some good swimmers around her. Freya Colbert, both Freya Colbert in 3 and Michaela Glenister in 5. Both swam the women's 200 metres freestyle. Imagine coming to the Olympic trials and by the second women's event, you've already done 2 races. And that is 200 free and 400 IM. Goodness me, what a double. Well, they probably would have swum about 45 minutes or so ago. So it's enough. What they would have done is swam down straight away. There's the training pool you can see just behind that caption. Wilmot in 4, the fastest seed. But the Olympic pool there is in the picture. And then just at the top, on the right-hand side, you can just see the diving boards, which are sitting away from the pool so that the swimmers can swim down in that diving pool. So they would have gone in there. There's also a training pool to your left-hand side. You can't see it, but to the left-hand side of that shot, there's some glass windows, and then the warm-up pool when the Olympics was held here. And then in the Olympic Village, they had 3 10-lane 50-metre pools side by side. And part of the Olympic legacy, which the Olympics, of course, was built on, was that those pools would be used elsewhere. And Mount Kelly got one of them. I'm not quite sure where the others went, so maybe somebody could tweet that to me. Andy Jameson swim. Tell me where the other 2 Olympic pools went. So here's the swimmers, the women in the second heat of the women's 400 medley. Olivia Kingsland leading them out from Nova. Already gone through that shot. She's keen to get to her blocks. There she is in the green tracksuit of Nova Centurion. Jennifer King of East Kilbride. There is Olivia. And Olivia's best time is 5:01.77. So I'm sure a target for her wouldn't be great to get under 5 minutes. So heat 2, women's 400 medley. Amy Wilmot of University of Stirling, engaged to be married at the end of this year. Commonwealth champion 400 medley. Fastest C. This is her only race of this meet, the 400 medley. Coached by Steve Tigg. What a great professional he is. I had a quick chat with him the other day. Wow, he is very impressive. The pink suit of Michaela Glenissa in lane 5 from Stirling. Teammates of Wilmot in 4 in the black suit. So 100 fly, 100 back, 100 breast and 100 free. Heat 2 of the women's 400 medley. And a very good 200 metres butterfly swimmer, Amy Wilmot, leads in lane number 4. 1 lane up from her in the green hat of Nova. One of 2 Nova swimmers in this race is Freya Colbert in lane 3. I can't imagine doing a double of 200 free 400 medley. That just seems brutal. Really does. So first to turn was Wilmot, but probably the better of the 2 turns was Freya Colbert in 3. And also going well in 7 is Jennifer King of East Kilbride. The black hat in the centre there is Amy Wilmot. And the green hat of Freya Colbert. But closest to us, possibly leading, is Jennifer King of East Kilbride. There she is, in the black hat closer to us, maybe just about second. So first to turn is Wilmot. King is second in lane 7. 4 100s ahead of Freya Colbert up there in lane number 3. And Amy Wilmot, well, what a family. Her dad, Stuart Wilmot, what a character he is. He can talk for Britain, that's for certain. Was a member of the Olympic team back in 1984 in Los Angeles. Actually swam this event, the men's 400, well, the 400 medley, not this women's. He swam the 400 medley in LA, came 15th. And then his daughter also swims, also makes the British team, also goes to the Olympic Games, swam the same event, the 400 medley, and came 11th in this pool in London in 2012 at the Olympic Games, and then 7th, made the final in Rio, did really well, and then backed that up, Commonwealth champion out on the Gold Coast in Australia. So Wilmot fastest seed. She turns first at the halfway mark in the second heat of 2 of the women's 400 metres individual medley. Turning first by just over 3 seconds from Jennifer King up in 3. There's Jennifer. And quite a way ahead, these 2 swimmers of the rest of the field. Look at that. Clear water between them and the rest of the field. So final places here will be really interesting. Really interesting. This leg, the breaststroke leg, always the tough one, always sorts them out. And Wilmot's got a very good breaststroke. Quick around the wall as well. That's good from the University of Stirling swimmer. Can she make her third straight Olympic team? Can she improve on her position as well when she gets there? 7th. Very good indeed. Such a competitive race, this, the 400 medley. So hard. Looks really good, though. Her only race at these championships. She's working it harder than I thought she would be. This is an interesting tactic. Doesn't need to do this, so it's obviously a purposeful idea. Not too many swimmers are going to push it too hard in the heats, but she looks very good. 3:36 at the turn, something like that. Yeah, 3:36.18. Well, she looks very good, and she's still working. Look at the leg kick. She breathing 4s, then 2, something like that. That was a 2, 4, and a 2. Head down. Yeah, interesting pattern as well. 4s and 2s. I'll be every 2, me. I'll be. Give me some air. Sprinters tend not to breathe too much at all. I think certainly Ben Proud on the 50 metres freestyle doesn't breathe at all down the 50 metres. And as you get up in distance, you tend to breathe more. I don't see too many people going 4s and 2s. Interesting breathing pattern. Still going well just on the left-hand side of that shot, Jennifer King. Amelia Monaghan 3rd at the moment from City of Sheffield. Actually, no, she's back in 4th. So, winning the second heat of the women's 400 medley, Amy Wilmot of the University of Stirling, 4:42. Good swim from her second. Freya Colbert backing up that 200 freestyle, and she should make the final quite comfortably with that in this 400 medley. 3rd, Orla Adams. Well, she'll be through as well. She'll make the final. Well, that's some good swimming for the top 3. And then after that, Amelia Monaghan up there in lane number 2. I don't know who's going to make these. We'll have to check. The times are going to be quite close for the 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th positions. Impressive swim that, though, from Amy Wilmot. And with the finals at 7 o'clock this evening, she'll probably be swimming, I guess, probably a half an hour into the meet, something like that, I would imagine, in which case she's got a good 8.5 hours rest. That should be plenty. She'll get out now, go and pick up a see-through plastic bag, and then go and swim down and have a really good long swim down. I would imagine maybe 1,000 or so, 1,000 meters, maybe 1,500 meters, something like that. Just get rid of that lactic acid and get nice and comfortable, nice and loose. Go back to the hotel, have a nap. But winning in a 4:42.92, Amy Wilmot. And we're just waiting for confirmation of the results at the moment. Hopefully that doesn't mean disqualification of somebody, but we're just waiting for the results to be confirmed. As the sprayers walk across, the 2 of them walk across and spray the seats. They do actually spray the blocks as well. They actually go along and spray them as soon as the start has happened. Of course, this is the first time that Olympic trials has been done in this way, with all this requirement for cleaning everything. So they're just making sure they've got plenty of time to do it all. I would imagine the meet will probably speed up a little bit after this first session. But certainly so important to make sure that they get everything as clean as possible. I was asking the question the other day about the starting box. Why do you clean the starting box? Because you only stick your feet on it. But actually you don't, do you? Of course, you stick your hands just under the start and take your marks. You put your hands down and link your fingers underneath. So you'll be sticking your fingers where somebody else has had their fingers. Mind you, there's so much of that, well, I don't know what you call it, the antibacterial sanitizer stuff. There's so much of that around the pool. Every 15, 20 meters, there's a bottle of it. So people should have pretty clean hands. Everybody here, of course, has been COVID checked. I think there might be another COVID check, actually, during the week as well. So here are the results, and delighted to say no disqualification. So Amy Wilmot winning the second of the two heats of the women's 400 medley, 4:42.9. Freya Colbert second, Orla Adams third. They'll definitely go through. And then, 4:58.7, 4:58.79, 7.5 and 7.9. 4 100s between those two. Will they both make it through? Top 8? And, look at that. 4 100ths of a second. Michaela Glenister misses out on the Olympic trials final, the women's 400 medley. But no doubt about the fastest seed, Amy Wilmot of Stirling, 4:42.92. Booker in second. Hannah Miley will be in fourth. So she'll be in lane 6 next to Booker and Orla Adams. It's going to be an interesting final. Amy Wilmot looked really good. Well, that's the 400 medley. That's 3 races down. The next men's event is the big one. It is the 100 metres breaststroke. And there are 3 heats. In the first heat, we have Ross Murdoch, the Commonwealth champion from the 200 metres breaststroke in Glasgow. What a race that was. Here we go. Men's 100 metres breaststroke. The second heat has got James Wilby, who's pre-selected for the Olympic team from his World Championship silver medal on this 100 metres breaststroke. And then Adam Peaty, of course, in the third heat, pre-selected as well, the world record holder. So here are the first athletes. Only 3 athletes. Again, seeding's an interesting, been done an interesting style here for this race. They've decided to go 3 heats circle seed for this one, and Ross Murdoch will be in the centre in lane 4. Adam Chillingworth of Plymouth Leander next to him in 3. And then the other side of him will be Archie Goodburn of the Loughborough National Centre. So Ross, lane 4. Who can forget that Commonwealth Games? He was utterly brilliant up in Glasgow. We all thought that Michael Jameson was going to win, and Jameson swam very, very well. But goodness me, Ross Murdoch's final 50 metres was something phenomenal. Won the gold medal at that Commonwealth Games. And, well, he's Mr. Fitness, I have to say. He's been running half marathons, apparently, in lockdown. He loves to rest. He loves to get in there and do a big taper. Swims very quick off it. His lifetime best, 59.09. He is the Scottish record holder in this men's 100 metres breaststroke. 3 swimmers in the first heats. Chillingworth of Plymouth in 3, Murdoch in 4, and Goodburn of Loughborough in 5, closest to us. So 2 lengths of the pool. It's the men's 100 metres breaststroke. And well, back in Kazan 6 years ago at the World Championships, Ross Murdoch got a bronze medal on this 100 breaststroke, Commonwealth champion on the 200. And well, he's got quite a fast turnover there. Normally on the 200 we see it a little bit slower than that, but looking very powerful, very strong. 28. What was the time at the 50 there? 28.07. Goodburn 28.3. And let's see them wind up this second 50. I'm guessing somewhere around 61 seconds will make the final, maybe just over that. But, working well, Ross Murdoch now, starting to swim away. If he can just hold his technique down this last 25, hold his stroke. He's just starting to increase the stroke rate a little bit. Under 60. Oh, it's very close. 59.53. That is very, very good indeed. 59.5. Well, 59.53, that puts him 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5th fastest person in the world this year in that heat. Ross Murdoch, that's a really good swim. And what is fascinating, we've got 4 swimmers in total pre-qualified for the Olympic team. 2 of them are 100 metres breaststrokers. And one of them is not yet, well, not Ross Murdoch. Ross Murdoch's time, 59.53, is a really good swim, pretty much on his own. Only 3 swimmers in that heat. Goodburn second, 61.1. That's just about on his lifetime best, just the 10th outside of that. That's good. And then a new lifetime best for Adam Chillingworth of Plymouth. Well, that's an impressive heat. Really is. Maybe 3 swimmers in a heat suits Ross. Well done, sir. That was impressive. 59.5. I did not expect that. I was thinking more like sort of 60-point low. 59.5, good. And he did speed his stroke up a little bit towards the end. So we've got 2 pre-qualified swimmers, 2 breaststrokers pre-qualified, 4 in total, 2 men in this breaststroke event. One of them here, James Wilby, the fastest seed in this second of 3 heats of the 100 breaststroke. Only 2 allowed per country, per race. So the men's 100 metres breaststroke in the Olympics, I'm sure we will have 2 Brits in it. But of course, for the selection trials, if you've got 2 guys pre-qualified, the pre-qualification standard was a medal at the World Championships last year. If you got a medal at the World Championships in 2019, then you get to be pre-qualified for the Olympic team. We had 2 in the men's 100 breaststroke. Adam Peaty won, of course, and James Wilby got the silver. You can't close off the trials. So quite clearly, we can't pre-select both the men's breaststrokers for the 100 breaststroke, because then nobody else would be allowed to swim in the race. There's no point in having a trial. So Wilby and Peaty are pre-selected for the Olympic team, but not necessarily yet for the 100 breaststroke. Hopefully I got that right. So with a 59.5, what a marker. That is a very good heat swim. We've got Wilby in 4, David Murphy in 5. Just outside of 60 seconds is his lifetime best. It'd be great to see him get close to that. Kyle Booth in 3. A second of 3 heats of the men's 100 breaststroke. The world record is just phenomenal. The world record is 56.88 for 100 metres breaststroke. Goodness me. That's an interesting one. Pouring water over his block. Well, there's disinfectant been sprayed on it just to make sure that it's nice and clean for the next swimmer. And he's clearly decided he doesn't want to have disinfectant on his feet when he gets on the block. I doubt it would be particularly strong. It wouldn't be a good idea that to sting your feet. So he's just watered it down a bit as well. It's an interesting one. He's got his mask and his Wilby, his mask strap underneath his swimming hat. So heat 2 of 3, men's 100 breaststroke. The Commonwealth champion on the 200 breaststroke is in lane 4. He was a silver medalist on the 100 breaststroke at the Commonwealth Games. He was a bronze medalist on the 50. He was actually the most successful breaststroker, I believe, at the Commonwealth Games for Britain, because he got a gold, silver and bronze. Britain are the British nations. Heat 2 of 3, the men's 100 breaststroke. Wilby goes in lane 4, World Championship silver medalist. Murphy in 5. Teammates at the Loughborough National Centre. Booth in 3 for Cardiff. The black suit, the black hat, right in the centre is James Wilby of the Loughborough National Centre. Not the greatest start, you have to say. Much better start, David Murphy, his teammate in 5, 1 lane closer to us with that white hat. This, his best event. I'd like to see him in the 27s maybe at the turn. Would give him a great shot of doing a really quick swim. Well, after a pretty average start, James will be now looking very good. He's just under 28, 27.4, 27.9 for Murphy's a very good split. And I know Mel Marshall, Murphy's coach, was looking for under 28, so that's a good swim from him. And Dave Hemmings coaching Wilby. Look at this, looks so strong and so good, Wilby. This is a really good swim from him. Out in 27.4. Looks strong, looks powerful. Well, Wilby, can he get 59 low, maybe 58 high? Just starting to tie up a little bit. 59.3, just a little bit faster than the time set in that first heat by Ross Murdoch. And David Murphy coming in second, a new lifetime best for him. 60.44 was his best. He went 0.38, so 6/100ths of a second inside his lifetime best in the heats of the British Swimming Selection Trials for the Tokyo Olympics. the right time to do a lifetime best, he will be through to the final in a decent lane as well. Well, plenty to work on there for James Wilby. His start was okay and maybe tied up a little bit towards the end, but Wilby winning that second heat in 59.3. Murphy, lifetime best for him, 60.38. And then Kyle Booth, a really good swim from him, 61.5. I think that's his lifetime best by a decent amount as well. So it looks like under 62 seconds, and you've got a chance. 61.5s maybe is going to be the somewhere around the target for the third heat. It's got to be helpful to be in the third heat, knowing what you've got to do. So that time of 59.3. Fifth fastest in the world this year, and that pushes Ross Murdoch to sixth. So the final heat, and here he is, the world record holder, the Olympic champion, the world champion, the European champion, the Commonwealth champion, Adam Peaty of Loughborough National Centre, pre-selected for the Olympic team, 6'3", 26 years of age, a new dad. He's in lane 4 of this final heat, the men's 100 metres breaststroke. By far the greatest breaststroke swimmer in history in the world. Benson in 5, Butler in 3. Well, what can you say about him? He's done the triple-double at the World Championships, winning the 50 and the 100 breaststroke in 2015, 2017 and 2019. The 50 and the 100. He's the world record holder on the 50 and the 100 breaststroke. I've got an interesting stat for you. If you take Adam Peaty's world record of 56.8 and then you take the second fastest time in history, it's about 2.5% back. So the second guy is about 2.5% slower. If you take Usain Bolt's 100 meters running race and add 2.5% to that, there are 8 athletes inside that 2.5% barrier. So there's 8 athletes closer to Usain Bolt than there are close to Adam Peaty. Just extraordinary. He is so far ahead of the rest of the world. It is phenomenal. So Peaty will be in lane 4. His only race at this meet. Interesting one. So he can go home this afternoon. First day of 5. That's probably very good, actually. Keep him out of harm's way in terms of potential for getting ill. Go back and see his family, see his new little baby. What a team. There he is. Peaty, the black hat, the Union Jack. Swimmers get their core temperature up a little bit before they swim. Headphones on, headphones off, getting ready to go. And, well, the team, Adam Peaty and Mel Marshall as a team, just amazing. Look at those tattoos on his arms as well. Look at that. Well, tattoos, I have to say, in world swimming, you watch the Olympic Games, you start seeing an awful lot of fantastic ones, and he has got some crackers on there. Look at that. He's got a, what is that, a centurion, the Olympic rings. There's that fantastic lion. Of course, he is the team captain of the London Pride swimming team in the International Swimming League. Oh, he's got some new ones on there. Look, I'm going to have a look at that. They look great. Heat 3, fastest heat. Just kicking the back of that block, making sure it's in place. Adam Peaty, world record holder, Olympic champion, in lane 4. Meters breaststroke, Craig Benson of Stirling, the white hat in lane number 5, and then one lane up from him. Well, look at this already, quite incredible. What is he going to do? Is his race tactics heat to final? Well, he's definitely practicing the first 25 meters, I can tell you that. Look at this. Oh my word. Well, let's just check the world record time. World record came off 26.63, 26.6. He's gone 26.8. He's just 0.2 of a second outside the world record pace. A good turn as well from Peaty. Well, this is very, very interesting. He doesn't need to go this fast. He could probably do kicking and make the final. but he's really going for it. He really is going for it. The fastest time in the world this year is 58.3. No other athlete in history apart from him has gone under 58 seconds for 100 breaststroke. He's gone 56.88, 56.88. The world record is just out, 57.7. Wow. No one else in history has gone under 58. He's just gone 57.7. The fastest time in the world this year is half a second slower than that by anybody. Niccolò Martinenghi of Italy, winning their Olympic trials. He's just gone faster than that by half a second, and that's the heat. Wow. Well, I know he was looking for a 57 if he could at this meet, but that is something special. That really is. And that was nearly a second outside of his best. How good is he? PT wins the third heat of the men's 100 meters breaststroke from the Loughborough National Centre. Greg Butler, second. Benson, third. 61.64 in third. Ooh, that's going to be mighty close for that final spot in that final this evening. But what a swim from PT. Well, he's done the job there very clearly. No doubt about his tactics. Worked that first 25, race prep, practicing the details. Oh, and Benson's made it. Look at that. Well done, sir. So, Adam Peaty, fastest qualifier for the final of the 100 metres breaststroke from Loughborough National Centre, will beat his teammate 1-2 in the world 2 years ago, 1-2 here after the heats in the British Olympic selection trials. Murdoch third, 3 swimmers sub 60. Very good swimming indeed. Murphy's in there. Good burn. Look at that Loughborough National Centre. I think there's 5 of them. Wow. Well, when you see somebody who's just utterly sensational, it is a privilege to be here. It really is. PT looking very, very good. And his coach, Mel Marshall, you can just see the Lebara sign there on the far side of the swimming pool. And his coach is just standing above that. There's 2 people. She's on the right-hand side of those 2. And thumbs up to somebody. I can't quite see who it is from here, but somebody's done a good job. 5 swimmers from the Loughborough National Centre, I think, are going to be in that final this evening. I think that might have been Greg Butler that she was thumbing up to. Having a little chat there. And there's actually a coaching area. You can see it's roped off there. And there's a spot where each coach is allowed to stand. So they've got to stand socially distanced and mask on, which both of them have. Good to see. Really interesting. Wow. Well, the big one from the men's side is over. That's men's 100 metres breaststroke. And of course, it's not only the individual breaststroke that they can make the team for, but there's that men's medley relay and there's a mixed medley relay where Great Britain in both have great medal chances, possibly even gold. Wouldn't that be something? Next race up, women's 100 metres butterfly. British record held by Ellen Gandy, 57.25. And the swimmers will just be coming out of that little door just to the left at the top. There we go. Lucy Grieve of South Ayrshire leading them out. Emily Large next, and then Harriet West. Katie Robertson. And then on the left-hand side, just gone out of that shot, is Emily Hames of Mount Kelly. So there's the start list then, and Harriet West of Loughborough National Centre goes as the fastest seed in this first of 3 heats of the women's 100 fly. 58.65 is her lifetime best. Another Mel Marshall coach swimmer from the National Centre in Loughborough. Swims for Wales at the Commonwealth Games as Harriet in the centre. Well, it'd be really good to see a fast 100 fly here from the women this evening, because that women's 4x100 medley relay has just got very quick. We just had Kathleen Dawson go 58.6 for 100 metres backstroke at the Manchester meet, and that suddenly propels us into with a start like that. And then breaststroker of maybe somebody, well, there's several of them, aren't there? Molly Renshaw swimming really well, Jocelyn Anulia. Need a good flyer because we've got a great freestyler as well, one of two. Harriet West, the fastest seed in this first heat of the women's 100 fly. Started well as well, look at that. 3 breasts, then 2. Now she's breathing 2s, keeping nice and flat. At the top there, Emily Hames, the 20-year-old. Has moved to West Virginia this year, University of West Virginia, fly free sprinter. But first to turn is Emily Large in 5, world junior champion on the 200 metres butterfly back in 2017. European junior on the 200 fly in 16. There's some very good 200 fly swimmers in this event. We've got Alice Thomas still to come, the Commonwealth champion on the 200 fly. A couple of others as well, Laura Stevens. But this is a good swim, very good swim from Emily Large from Edinburgh. And at the World Junior, she was the champion on the 200 back in 2017, 4th on the 100. It's a good swim, 59, 59.4, 59.5. So just outside her lifetime best by 0.3 of a second. But Large winning the first heat of 3. She'll be through to the final with that, certainly. Sub 60, and you'll be in. There's actually 8 swimmers seeded under 60 seconds for this 100 metres butterfly, so 59.5 should be good enough. Certainly should be good enough to make the final this evening. Large wins it, West second, Grieve third. And 4th and 5th, Robertson and Hames. Well, the first of 3 down. Still one more event after this to go. It's the men's 200 metres individual medley. The pace of the meet this morning, purposefully careful and slow. Just trying to work out what is the safest way to make sure that these athletes can come through this trial, Olympic trial, unscathed from any nasties. Look at that, well done. Mask straight on. Pick up your plastic bag and go. So a couple of minutes just while the officials go and spray the seats that the swimmers sit on before they go. There we go. There we go. There's going to be no nasties in there, is there? Look at that. That poor seat. How many times is that going to get sprayed over the next 5 days? So somebody does lanes 0 to 4 and somebody else does lanes 5 to 9. 10-lane pool. What a facility this is. Absolutely fantastic. So heat 2 of 3 of the women's 100 fly. Harriet Jones is the fastest seed. Tane Bruce in the centre, the Scottish record holder on the 100 fly. Harriet Jones in the centre actually is the Welsh record holder on the 50 fly. 26.3. Did it this year. Did it in Manchester. So after this, it's going to be interesting. Once the team is selected, or the first members of the team are selected, there's other times that you can get selected. So this is not the final selection meet. It's not this and stop. A little bit like America. America actually, I think, has 2 meets, 2 selection meets for the first time ever. Normally they are just drop dead. If you make it, great, and if you don't, that's the end of it. But there's other meets, so you can make the British team to the European Championships and qualify there. Then there's a couple of European Grand Prix which may or may not go ahead, and even if they do, Britain may or may not send teams. Do you want to get on a plane right now sitting next to people you don't know? All of whom should have been COVID tested, but you just don't know how careful they've been. And then there will probably be another meet. There'll be another meet up in Glasgow later on as the final selection meet. So many of the athletes will be selected from this meet, and hopefully some from this next race. Heat 2 of 3 of the women's 100 fly. 100 fly consideration time is 57.92 for the women. That is quick. But we need a quick woman fly swimmer to add to well, possibly Kathleen Dawson, 58.6. Who knows? Georgia Davis, also a very good backstroke and has been the backstroke on the relay for many years. Breaststroke is wide open and getting more and more competitive now on the women's side. And then, of course, freestyle. Well, certainly two great ones and other potentials in Freya Anderson and Anna Hopkin. Women's 4x100 medley relay could be really good. Second heat of 3, women's 100 fly. All heats are seeded heats. Only one swimmer from the first heat, sub 60. Well, the target very clearly, get as close to under 60 as you can. Some good starts in the centre and those two yellow lanes in 4 and 5. The Welsh 50 fly record holder Harriet Jones in 4, and Tane Bruce, the Scottish 100 metres butterfly record holder from the University of Edinburgh in 5. And 4, Harriet Jones gone off well. Well, she is the Welsh record holder on the 50 fly. A little slow round the wall. She could probably tighten that up a little bit, but looking good, 27.1. And, well, she's first by over a second down that 50-metre turn, and she looks very strong indeed. This is good. Head down, the 50 specialist coming back really well. Coached by Graham Waddell in Cardiff. 58.5 is her lifetime best, and this looks a really good swim. Just tightening up a tiny bit, get in. 58.5, 58.46, new lifetime best. That is quick. Good swimming. Well done, Harriet. Well, that's impressive. One swimmer sub 60 in the first heat, only one in the second heat as well. So the third heat, well, if you can give it a shot, wide open to make this final this evening. So Harriet Jones, lifetime best and a really good swim. City of Cardiff, 58.46. Tane Bruce, the Scottish record holder, second. She should make it through with that, 60.2. 60.3, maybe. It's starting to get a little bit tight for those final spots. Yasmin Perry of Aberdeen Performance. Wow. 58.5, 58.4. 58.4, that's very good indeed for Harriet Jones. And one heat still to come. And the fastest seed will be Alice Thomas of Swansea. Her entry time 58.1. And there is Harriet Jones, and that's, I think that was the suit that the Welsh swam the Commonwealth Games in. That's in Australia. Had a good meet there, the Welsh, didn't they? So new lifetime best for Harriet Jones, 58.4. And so the start list for the final heat of the women's 100 metres butterfly, the last women's race of this morning. And Alice Thomas of Swansea University is the fastest seed. Laura Stevens of Plymouth, second fastest in a 58.8 qualification time. European junior bronze medalist on the 100 and the 200 fly, Laura Stevens in 5. But Alice Thomas, Commonwealth champion, that 200 fly. What a race that was. Out of nowhere as well. I mean, a massive lifetime best it was. Took on the best of the world and destroyed them. Best in the Commonwealth. Very, very good swim it was. Again, just waiting to make sure that the pool is clean and clear before the next athletes are introduced. So it looks like sub 60 will definitely get you in the final. And if you do go 60 point, if you can go 60 point low, you've got a decent chance. And if I can tell you that 3 of the swimmers are seeded under 60. And a 4th swimmer, Sophie Freedman. Sophie Freeman of Plymouth. 2 Plymouth swimmers in this. Could we see 2 Plymouth swimmers in the finals? Very possible. Sophie Freeman's entry time 60.6. Thomas the fastest. Laura Stevens second. Kiana McInnes of University of Stirling is the 3rd seed. World Junior bronze medalist on the 200 fly back in 2017. She goes in lane 3 for Stirling. Some very good 200 fly swimmers Britain's got at the moment. We need to get this 100 fly a little bit quicker, not only for the individual, but also certainly for the relays. There's Alice. All in black. Interesting they're spraying those seats. I don't think anybody's touched them. I think they stick the bag on it, and that's about as close as anybody actually gets. But anyway, if it helps, do it. Keep the athletes safe, healthy, clear. Get them through, get them trialled. Choose the majority of the team here. Others will be selected in a few meets post. There's the PL of Plymouth Leander on the right-hand side in lane 5 of that shot. Laura Stevens with her left foot on the block. Oof. Very fast off the blocks there in lane 8. I didn't actually see whether she went early, but that was an extremely quick start. Let's hope she's okay. That's Kiara Morris of Millfield, but Alice Thomas in the centre. Well, she's a good 200 fly swimmer. She'll be better on the second half. At the moment, leading is Laura Stevens of Plymouth Leander. Stevens first. Second is Kiana McInnes of Stirling up in 3. And then Alice Thomas in the middle of those two, starting to come back now, starting to come back a little bit at Laura Stevens. Laura's best time actually is 58.70. And Alice's best time is 57.8. So if she can go her lifetime best, she will qualify this evening. Just a matter of getting through to the final. Sub 60, I think maybe 3 of them here. Yeah, comfortably. 58.56 wins it for Laura Stevens. Second is 59.23 for Kiana McInnes. And 3 100s back, 59.26. Alice Thomas of Swansea University. Job done, well done. Sophie Freeman was 4th in a 61.01. I don't know if that's going to be quick enough. I think it might be a little bit on the edge. But certainly the top 3 look good, look strong, look quick. Result of the final heat of the women's 100 metres butterfly, the last women's race of this morning. Laura Stevens wins it, 58.56. Kiana McInnes of Stirling second, Alice Thomas third, 3 sub 60. They'll be through to the final. And we'll have to wait for Sophie Freeman if 61.01 is good enough. Unfortunately, Kiara Morris did go a little bit quick off the start there. It'll be a very good experience for her, though, just being here. So the qualifiers for the final. Harriet Jones goes in fastest, very tight indeed, though. Look, 1/10 of a second between 1 and 2. Laura Stevens second, McInnes third, Alice Thomas fourth. 5 swimmers sub 60. And it took a 60.38 to qualify for the final. Scottish record holder Tane Bruce in 7th. It's going to be quite a final, that. It's going to be really tight. Exciting stuff. Looking forward to that one. Well, if we can get into the 57s, the qualification standard for an individual is 57.92. That's just the consideration time, 57.92. So with comfortable looking, quick but comfortable looking heats this morning, quite a few of those women definitely have the potential to go 57.9. Alice Thomason, fourth best time is 57.8. So a couple of them could do it. And if we can get an individual qualifier, that would be great for that relay, the women's relay. So there's the fastest 10. Harriet Jones leading. I was asked the other day by somebody, if you make the Olympic team, do you get a tattoo? It's not part, it doesn't come with your tracksuit, but it's an interesting one. Certainly is. There's the there's swimmers 11 through 20 ranked. Lucy Grave, 61.49, just outside of the top 8. Some good swims there. And then Kiara Morris, well, got a bit excited off the blocks, but it will be great experience for her. She's swam at Olympic trials. So the final race of this morning, of the first set of heats, is the men's 200 metres individual medley, and the British record holder goes in this event, Max Litchfield, 1:56.64. Wow. I think that was set at the World Championships, was it not? In Budapest in 2017. I think it was. It was a great swim, whatever it was. I think he placed 4th, did he? He did indeed. 4th on the 200 medley, 4th on the 400 medley, Max Litchfield. And he's in this first heat, the British record holder. There are 2 heats. So, heat 1 of the men's 200 IM. Joe Litchfield in lane 4. And his brother, Max Litchfield, in 5. The fastest 2 seeds in this, the first heat of the men's 200 IM. The British record holder goes in 5. The younger brother in 4. I'm really looking forward to seeing how these two go. Joe, well, he's been building up and building up. He's a little bit like a dam ready to burst. He hasn't had a big drop yet. I wonder whether this is the time when it happens. Maybe not in this particular heat, but certainly this final this evening. And his brother is the British record holder, has been an absolute stalwart of medley swimming for a long time. Olympic Games in 2016, 4th on the 400 IM. And then World Championships a year later, 4th on the 200 medley and the 400 medley. Got a really bad shoulder injury after that, a really bad one. So much so that we weren't quite sure if he was going to be able to make it back, but he's nursed it back very carefully and very well. That the physio's done a super job with him on that. Make sure he's back and back well. Of course, Dave Hemmings coaches both of these two. Litchfield Joe in 4, Litchfield Max in 5. Heat 1 of 2, the men's 200 medley. Miles Turner of West Suffolk up in 1, George Smith of Ellesmere College in 2, Jacob Greenhow of Bath University in 3, Joe Litchfield in 4, Max Litchfield in 5, Angus Allison of Warrender Bath Club in 6, Evan Jones, just 16 years of age from Millfield, his first major international level competition. Is exciting for him, and he started well in that green hat of Millfield in 7, and Luke Ibbison of Wickham District in 8. So leading out is Max, it looks like, down the first, is it Max? No, it was Joe down the first 50. 25.77, 26.03. Couple of tenths back, and these two Litchfields. Interesting strokes, not exactly the same at all, but not wildly dissimilar. And Max, the British record holder, first to turn. Joe, 1 lane up from him, getting the better turn in lane 4. And they'll be looking for probably 2:01, 2:02, something like that, maybe. Maybe slightly faster if they really want to push it. And Joe looks like he is pushing it a little bit. Third at the moment is Jacob Greenhow of University of Bath. And then in the red hat of Warren Bath Club, Angus Allison. And then closer to us is Evan Jones, the 16-year-old. So 50 metres to go. Joe Litchfield first. Amazing turn. Really wonderful turn underwater, using about 12 or 13 metres. That was a fantastic turn. In the final this evening, that will be really interesting because they're going to be up against Duncan Scott, who's equally a brilliant sprint freestyler. Joe Litchfield pushing it. Max Litchfield now starting to come back a little bit as well. The time is quick. The time is very fast. 1:58.35. Oh my goodness me. I think that's his lifetime best by a decent distance. Is that right? That's an amazing swim. 1:58.3, 1:59.8. Joe wins it, Max second. And yeah, it's a new lifetime best for Joe by nearly a second. 1:59.1 was his best time. Well, we said we were expecting a little bit of a dam to burst with some good swimming, but 1:58.3 is exceptional. Wow. So, the results of the first of two heats of the men's 200 AM. A new lifetime best for Joe Litchfield, 1:58.3. A great swim from him, almost a second lifetime best. The British record holder looked comfortable in second. Greenow third, Allison fourth. And the 16-year-old Evan Jones down in sixth, swam well. I think that was a lifetime best for him, 2:06 as well. Let me just check that one. Must be bizarre coming to an Olympic trials and swimming right next to your brother in the heat. Yeah, Evan Jones just swam almost a 3-second lifetime best. The 16-year-old, well done, sir. He looks a little bit tired. So the final heat of this morning is heat 2 of the men's 200 metres individual medley. And right in the centre, Duncan Scott of University of Stirling. Well, he's been pretty close to Max Litchfield's British record of 1:56.64. In fact, 1:56.65 he's gone. 1/100th out. Scott's in 4, Sharanik in 5. He's very good indeed. Very, very good. And then we've got Cam Brooker of Bath National Centre, great prospect he is. He's 19 years of age. Tall, skinny lad. He's got a lot of filling out to do, but when he does, he's going to be very good indeed. He's in 6. James McFadden up in 3. European junior bronze medalist on this 200 medley 4 years ago. Well, suddenly we got a lot of very good medley swimmers. The two Litchfields, really good. That 1:58, exceptional swim from Joe in the heat. And his brother also under 2 minutes. And now we've got Duncan Scott. Only 2 of these guys are allowed to qualify. And the qualification standard 1:58.32. So Joe Litchfield only just outside of the consideration standard for the Olympic team in the heats. Wow. And here we go. Charles Kershaw of Plymouth Leander. Well, he's keen to get to his blocks, isn't he? Look at that. He's certainly winning the lead out of the athletes. He'll be in lane 8. He's the slowest seed in this second of 2 heats of the men's 200 medley. There's the red inners of the parka of Duncan Scott, the 23-year-old, born in Glasgow, swimming at the University of Stirling, trained by Steve Tigg. Well, Steve Tigg, enormously impressive, I have to say. I had a chat with a couple of coaches and they were all fantastic. Steve was really impressive. I love it when you talk to somebody who's really good and they give you all the detail and all the technical stuff, and then somebody very good, very, very good, and they give you even more. And then somebody who's utterly brilliant, they just make it so simple and so easy. And talking to Steve Tigg, it just went so simple, so straightforward. Similar chat with other coaches as well. Great chats I've had. Really enjoyed it. So there is Duncan Scott. Men's 200 medley, heat 2 of 2. He's in lane 4. One lane closer to us is Mark Sharanek of University of Stirling, also coached by Steve Tigg. And Sharanek in 5 actually won the American Collegiate National Championships, the NC2As, which is enormously hard to do, and was a teammate of Caleb Dressel over there in Florida. And, well, I think this is the first time, actually, that Sharanek's actually rested properly since he's been back at Stirling, so it'll be interesting to see how he swims this. Not traditionally the best on the fly leg, but comes back much better in the next 3 strokes. First over is Duncan Scott, an excellent flyer. He'll be in the individual 100 fly later this week. McFadden, the European junior bronze medalist, up there in 3, started well. Lovely high still head position as well from McFadden of Loughborough University in that black hat. The white hat of Duncan Scott leading. And interesting race tactics is, again, Scott looks like he's not hanging around. He loves swimming a lot of races, certainly seems to get better and better as the meet goes through. Sometimes you wish he'd start the meet towards the end of it because he just seems to get better and better. But first to turn is Duncan Scott, 56. Wow, 56.1 at the turn. 56.2 for James McFadden. And then Sharanek in a 58. So Scott looking good, working quite well, working hard, but working well. Looks like he's pushing it a little bit. Doesn't need to do this in this heat because he'd get through comfortably just swimming at a very pedestrian pace for him. But this is looking good, 129.5. So he's, what is he on for? About 157, something like that, maybe 158. Could be even faster. Such a great freestyler. World Championship bronze medalist on the individual 200 meters freestyle. And look at this. He is really working it well. Well, I said maybe 158, maybe 157. 157.7. Wow. That is really good. That is really good. It's only a second off his best. And that looked good. He worked it hard. He's going to have a little bit of extra lactate after that. He's going to have to go and swim that down fairly well, but he's still got about 8 hours before his final. So the finals this evening, starting at 7 o'clock, the finals this evening. So make sure you tune in for that. But there's Duncan Scott, a really impressive second heat of the men's 200 meters individual medley, and his time 157.7. Well, he'll be in the fastest lane in the final, and he'll be, I think, surrounded by Litchfields, if I'm right. Joe will be in 5 and Max in 3, if I've got it right. Also, James McFadden going under 2 minutes. I think that might be his first time under 2 minutes, which is another lifetime best for him, which is really good. What a time to do it. Well done. So, confirmation of the result of that final heat. In fact, it looks like that might be the qualifiers for the final. Is it? No, that's, I think that's just that last heat. No, it's not. It's qualifiers for the final. Duncan Scott is the fastest qualifier. 2 Litchfields will be surrounding him in the final this evening. McFadden, very good swim from him. Sharanek's made it in as well. And Evan Jones, a 16-year-old, look at that. 3-second lifetime best, well done to him. Some really good swimming in there, really good swimming. So that completes this morning's heats, the first morning of heats of this British swimming selection trials for the Tokyo Olympics. And this evening, there's the finals starting off at 7 o'clock. Make sure that you tune in again at 7 o'clock because that first final is going to be really interesting. Freya Anderson, Abby Wood, Holly Hibbert, all in there. Men's 400 free should be a firecracker. Women's 400 medley, that will be very interesting. But then the big one, of course, the men's 100 breaststroke. We have the fastest men in the world in Britain at the moment. In fact, I think 3 of the fastest 6 in the world, with a world record holder, Adam Peaty, fastest, going up against the World Championship silver medalist, James Wilby. Ross Murdoch's from a really good heat as well. That'll be off at 7:34. Women's 100 fly is hotting up, and then that men's 200 medley. That's going to be a wonderful race, 7:51 this evening. So join us again at 7 o'clock. Great set of heats this morning. Some really interesting stuff at what is a very, very different Olympic trials. Very different indeed, but delighted to say British Swimming have moved heaven and earth to get it on, and what a great meet they've put on already. Good heats this morning. See you again at 7 o'clock this evening.